Right, let's see, I've got my wallet, got my smartphone, car keys, jackets. Right, I'm all ready for my night out. Ah. Let's have a look. Good, that's better. From custom-made facial hair to entire limbs, this week Click looks at 3D printing. We'll visit the world's largest 3D printing factory in America and find out how to print a house, a car, and even your own name on toast. We're also on a mission to find out if the new Xbox One games console really is out of this world. All that plus the latest tech news and the apps that claim to be good for you in Webscape. Welcome to Click. I'm Spencer Kelly. Just thought I'd take a few minutes breather before we start this week because it's going to be a packed programme here at the 3D Print Show in London. 3D printing is all the rage at the moment. This technique of creating unique objects by building them up layer by layer using a 3D printer. Hence, observe the groovy 3D printed bedroom wall. It'd be lovely when they finish the other three. The funky 3D printed chair, and over there, a 3D printed car. The rhetoric goes that in the future you'll be able to 3D print almost anything. And certainly this show is packed with printers all jiggling away, printing complex designs in a variety of materials. There's talk of a future where 3D printing will work for your wardrobe and also for those who believe beauty is on the inside. At the moment though, most 3D printed models are just decorations and novelties. The technology hasn't quite come of age yet. For example, although the shell of this car has been 3D printed, which allows the design to be tweaked for each customer, it would be much more expensive to mass produce identical engine parts using this technology instead of established manufacturing methods. So, will we all be driving around in custom 3D printed cars in the future? Or will 3D printing always remain a novelty rather than the spark for the next industrial revolution? Well, we sent Jen Copestake to America to find out.
We're off to Eden Prairie, Minnesota. Its blend of beautiful scenery, retail and leisure opportunities is renowned across the country.
It's not just lakes, golf courses and malls that make this one of the best places in America to live. It's about income as well. Eden Prairie has one of the highest average family incomes around, and it's partly because of this. This is the largest 3D printing factory in the world. And the machines here are printing projects for various industries, including aerospace, medical, and even some top secret defense projects that we can't show you on camera.
3D printing is often described as the future of manufacturing. But here, 100 printers are already churning out thousands of 3D designs day and night for companies around the world.
We call this technology stereolithography, or three-dimensional printing.
The technology behind 3D printing isn't new. Chuck Hall invented additive manufacturing in 1983 with 3D systems, but its applications are rapidly evolving.
One of the exciting areas to me is materials. Right now we have 13 different types of thermoplastics that we can run on a FDM machine. There's over 77,000 thermoplastics available out there, so you have this wide range of materials out there, and as we bring more material offerings, it's just going to open up more opportunities for different types of applications.
NASA is using the technology in its next Mars rover project, with 70 parts 3D printed on its latest space vehicle.
They only are going to build one of those, or maybe two of those. So to go and do tooling for just real specialized components would be very high cost. It might cost, $50,000 or $20,000 just to create the tool, only to produce one part. So this technology is perfect for that, where you only need one of something and it's very unique.
There's a better world is to come and tell you why.
Closer to home, the 3D printing revolution might help some of America's struggling cities. This is Youngstown, Ohio, 800 miles south of the Stratasys factory in America's Rust Belt. Youngstown was at the heart of America's steel industry for decades, but the industry collapsed years ago and many people left. Now, 3D printing is bringing new hope to the city. The area around Youngstown has been renamed the Tech Belt, and President Obama has committed to developing the 3D printing industry here.
Last year, we created our first Manufacturing Innovation Institute in Youngstown, Ohio. A once shuttered warehouse is now a state-of-the-art lab where new workers are mastering the 3D printing that has the potential to revolutionize the way we make almost everything.
It's hard to imagine a revolution when you see it from the outside.
All right, welcome to America Makes. Let's go down to the factory floor.
Great. This building was an abandoned furniture factory, now reimagined as a factory floor where people can come to learn about 3D printing and manufacturing.
This first machine is the S-Pro 60 from 3D Systems.
Right.
This white material is called Duroform PA. It's a nylon 11 type material, so it's got all the mechanical properties of nylon 11.
And what would you make with this?
Oh, it's a favorite for aerospace, automotive, medical.
$30 million has been invested in the America Makes project in Youngstown by the White House. Another $40 million has been invested by a group of 80 companies and universities. The America Makes project is managed by the National Center for Defense Manufacturing and Machining, so manufacturing 3D parts for the military is top of the agenda.
The F-35 Lightning II at Lockheed Martin is looking at putting some really large titanium additive manufactured parts onto their airplane. The main motivation is cost, so you can use less material, you can source these faster, and on large titanium forgings it can take 12 to 18 months to source. Being able to do it in 6 to 8 weeks is a huge advantage.
Beyond space and fighter jets, 3D printing is expanding rapidly at the consumer manufacturing level too. This is the MakerBot factory in New York. It recently moved from a small office into a 50,000 square foot space.
We're all about inspiring the next industrial revolution. In fact, some people even use MakerBots to do manufacturing, and they make stuff and they do kind of runs of 1,000 or a couple thousand things and sell them that way. So for me, it's about empowering people to be able to make things and really getting back to the basics in terms of manufacturing. Anybody with a MakerBot can get a jump start on the next industrial revolution.
Countries all over the world are making huge investments in 3D printing, and this is what the future of global manufacturing could look like.
Jen Copestake in the US. Meanwhile, back here at the 3D Print Show in London, I finally found my outfit for the Click Christmas Fancy Dress Ball. I'm going as Lady Gaga. And next is the latest tech news. TV company LG is investigating allegations that some of its TVs send details about their owners' viewing habits back to the manufacturer, even if the user has activated a privacy setting. A UK-based blogger discovered his smart TV was sending data about which channels were being watched. The device also appeared to upload information about the contents of his USB stick. The Information Commissioner's Office told the BBC it was looking into the issue. An LG spokesman said it's now planning to release a firmware update which should correct the problem. The latest controversial site to surface from the dark web is Assassination Market, a crowdfunding service that lets people anonymously contribute Bitcoin currency towards the assassination of public figures. So far, there are 6 names proposed on the site, with the chairman of the US Federal Reserve, Ben Bernanke, being the highest priced target, with over $70,000 against his name. The list also includes US President Barack Obama and the director of the National Security Agency. When contacted by Click, both the US Secret Service and the FBI declined to comment on whether they're investigating the site. It's a new interactive video for Bob Dylan's 1965 song Like a Rolling Stone. Throughout the song you can flip through the channels to your heart's content, but no matter which one you watch, everyone seems to be saying if you buy a new tablet or smartphone today, the chances are it will be out of date before, well, the end of the year. However, if you'd have bought a new Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 when they were first released, you will have got about 8 years out of it before it was superseded. However, that time is now upon us, and Mark Chislak has his own velvet roped-off section under his TV, saving a space for the next generation.
This is all really rather embarrassing. You'll excuse me while I slip into something a little bit more comfortable. Physically, the Xbox One isn't quite a lunar monolith, but it does take up a fair amount of space. However, it's not just a games console, it has some serious designs on taking over the living room. TV set-top boxes can be plugged directly into the device using something called an HDMI pass-through. The console can then control the set-top box and its features and functions, and depending on the country you live in, the Xbox One can access a host of on-demand TV and movie services for download and streaming of HD content. Under its rather 80s-looking plastic skin lurks an 8-core processor, 500 gigs of storage and a Blu-ray player. In terms of raw power, it has slightly less graphics processing grunt than its rival, the PS4. We don't yet know if this will make any difference to games in the long term though. Unlike the machine it replaces, the Xbox One has been designed with the Kinect motion sensing device in mind from the ground up. And the Kinect itself has undergone a number of improvements. It's now a lot more accurate. It can recognise a far greater number of points of articulation in my body, which helps with the accuracy. And it's this device that really puts some clear water between Microsoft's console and its rival from Sony. Microsoft claims the Kinect camera is so precise it's now capable of analysing a user's heart rate by looking at and detecting micro fluctuations in their skin, a feature which will be put to use in fitness titles. The Kinect is also used to recognise users to log them into the console, after which they're greeted by the user interface, which unsurprisingly has a very Windows 8 feel to it. The Windows 8 layout might frustrate on PCs, but makes quite a bit of sense for the Xbox. It's clear, simple and very easy to navigate. One intriguing feature which has been carried over from the old Xbox and Kinect onto the new is speech recognition. The user could say a limited number of words at the device and it would recognise and react to them. The newer version of that, well, it's got a much larger vocabulary. I'll demonstrate here. Xbox, go home. And you can open up almost anything on the home screen simply by talking at the console. Xbox, Call of Duty Ghosts. It's this wider set of instructions that can be barked at the Xbox One that makes it feel just that little bit more like a next-generation console, when it works.
As far as the games are concerned, visually there's some pretty obvious improvements. There's now a greater number of lighting effects, and dust and particles are plentiful. Overall, there's just more detail in all the on-screen images, and the graphics feel smoother and slicker, as you'd expect from a brand new home console. Could some of the Xbox One exclusive launch titles exist on the current generation of machines? Possibly. They certainly wouldn't look anywhere near as pretty.
There's a lot of discussion about the future of TV in the living room, on-demand TV services, downloaded games and movies, web browsing from the sofa controlled with a wave of the hand or with the user's voice. The Xbox One combines all of these elements right now, making it feel, for better or worse, a little like something from science fiction.
Mark Chislak looking at the future of home entertainment. Now, earlier I showed you my 3D printed bedroom wall. This machine is a reminder that you don't just have to 3D print in plastic or powder or resin. You can print in a variety of different substances. This is printing a model of a house in clay, and in the future the project behind this wants to build a massive version of this thing and actually 3D print full-scale homes. A 3 to 4 metre structure could be done in just a matter of days, and that is a pretty tasty vision of the future if you ask me. Talking of which, Melissa Hogenboom has been to Barcelona to see a 3D printer that's making something even sweeter.
If you thought your 9-blade ice-crushing blender was the cutting edge of kitchen tech, meet the new guy on the counter. This is a prototype of the Foodini, a 3D printing kitchen appliance being developed by Barcelona startup Natural Machines. You may have seen 3D printers crafting chocolate into unlikely arrangements, and while the Foodini isn't ashamed of its sweet tooth, the creators want to bring something a little different to the table.
But we're looking to go way beyond just chocolate or way beyond a space food, if you will. We're looking for everyday foods that you would eat. So savory foods from ravioli, to gnocchis, to pastas, to decorating toast that you might have for breakfast.
The idea is to save you time making those fiddly foods without cutting corners on quality.
A great example is ravioli. When you make ravioli, you have to put a layer of pasta, a layer of filling, and a layer of pasta again. And I don't know about you, but I haven't made homemade ravioli in ages. I just don't have the time to do that. But with this device, it takes all the hard work off of it for me.
This prototype can only print with one ingredient at a time. So if you want to make something more ambitious like a burger, you'll need to construct it in a few steps.
This prototype all looks very complicated, but I've been told that the finished version will be much simpler. And we've just had Halloween, so here on the computer I've got the design for a ghost made out of spinach ricotta. And all I have to do is click print. This ghost has been printing for about 5 minutes now, and it's just going around adding layers, making it thicker. And I'm told you could eat this straight away, or you could put this in the oven and bake it.
Costing around €1,000, it's pretty pricey for a time-saving device, especially if it just ends up in the back of your cupboard. The finished product has been designed to look more at home next to your toaster. That's of course if it doesn't replace your kitchen entirely.
Melissa Hogenboom in Barcelona. Now, another area that could benefit greatly from 3D printing is medicine, where it's becoming possible to custom print instruments, assistive aids, and even prosthetics that perfectly match the patients. This shelf in particular is one to keep your eye on. And we stick with a medical theme now as we head to Webscape. There are already loads of apps out there that promise to diagnose and even treat you if you're not feeling too well. The question is, are they really any good for your health? Well, here comes Kate Russell with some answers.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel.
A 3D printing isn't new in healthcare. In fact, hearing aids are almost entirely produced using additive manufacturing, with more than 10 million 3D printed units in circulation today. The other health tech sector that's booming right now is smartphone apps. It's believed the mobile health market could be worth $26 billion by 2017. But you should never just trust the claims of a developer when it comes to medical advice. This library of smartphone apps is worth a look. It's been put together by the UK's National Health Service to vet and review any apps claiming to be good for your health.
And I'm feeling good.
This is one of those real peace of mind services, especially when it comes to apps offering advice and support for illnesses and conditions you might be getting medical treatment for. Obviously, no app is a good replacement for visiting your doctor if you have serious concerns.
From conditions like diabetes, cancer and Parkinson's to healthy living categories covering diet, exercise and giving up smoking. There are already dozens of resources listed, and the database is growing all the time. Wherever you live in the world, this is a great place to check before trusting any apps with your health and well-being.
And I'm feeling good.
If you're still looking for a good replacement for Google's defunct RSS reader, NewsBlur is worth a look. With a neat interface that lets you teach it what stories you like so it can filter out some of the noise. The free account gives you 64 site feeds with a premium option for more sites and features.
If you're sitting there wondering, what on earth is an RSS feed? It stands for Rich Site Summary. It's a way for a website to deliver a standardized feed of regularly updated information, like daily blog posts or news stories, and a way for us readers to collect those summaries using one piece of software rather than having to run all over the internet visiting the sites individually.
Now, how about some content for your new RSS feed? Visual News is one of my favourite blogs, as it delivers several eclectic posts every day that are driven by a really strong image. Add feeds.feedburner.com/thevisualnews to NewsBlur for the RSS.
I read it in the Daily News.
Another firm favourite for a different take on the news of the day is qz.com. Add qz.com/feed for the RSS. This blog is all about the writing, with a starkly simple design that doesn't ring any bells and whistles to detract from the expert commentary.
7 little pennies in the newsboy's hand, and you ride right along to Never Never Land.
If you haven't discovered the blogging world yet, where have you been living? There are hundreds and hundreds of millions of blogs. Admittedly, some a lot more readable than others. If you want to consider yourself a genuine fan of the genre, though, there is one blog you absolutely have to bookmark, the ground zero of the blogging phenomenon.
Kotkey.org is the alpha blog. Set up in 1998, before the term blog was even coined, it is one of the longest continuously running blogs on the web. It's not fancy to look at, but the range of content and stories is mind-blowing. An old-school blog roll where the content is definitely king. And it's actually quite fascinating digging back through the archive to see what they blogged about through the years.
Kate Russell's Webscape, and of course if you miss those links you'll find them all at our website. bbc.co.uk/click is the address you need. And if you'd like to get in touch about any of the 3D stuff you've seen this week, please do. We would love to hear from you. Click at bbc.co.uk is the email address, or you can get hold of us using Twitter, Facebook or Google Plus too. That's it from the 3D Print Show in London though. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.